This is our favorite place to be in the whole wide world, right here at Maker Faire. This is where we meet people who want to break stuff, who want to pull it apart and see how it works, who want to make a mess like we do. So folks, to let you know, if you are standing directly in this direction, where all of these phones are beautifully held up, there's going to be some soda flying in your direction. Now, if you want to get wet, this is the place to be. If you want to stay dry, this is not the place to be. As we come up here, there may be some spray flying in your direction, just a little bit. It could happen. It could happen. You'll probably stay dry. As we get over here, yeah, there might be a little bit of spray coming up. If the wind kicks up, it could get crazy. You could get wet. But it's blowing in this direction. So be forewarned. Now as we get over onto this side, you'll probably stay dry. There'll probably be a little bit of spray headed in your direction. You might get wet. Are you ready? Awesome, 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 awesome. Now if you're right over in here, if you're standing right there, you're gonna get wet. Makey is probably gonna get wet. Let's see if we can get Makey wet. That would be excellent. That would be excellent. Now folks, what we have up here is 108 bottles of Coke Zero, 540 Mentos mint candies, and we're gonna make an incredibly big mess. Yes, indeed. We should introduce ourselves. We are Eepybird, and we are experts at doing stupid things. Yes, indeed. My name is Fritz, and I was a professional juggler.
That sounds stupid, but for 20 years, I was a trial lawyer. So I think I win.
Now, about 12 years ago now, we made a video of approximately what you're about to see. We put it online on a Saturday morning in June of 2006, and we told one person. Steven told one of his brothers. Well, by Monday morning, The Late Show with David Letterman called. By Tuesday morning, Conan O'Brien show called. Wednesday, we're on All Things Considered on National Public Radio. It's taken us to 15 different countries now. That video, all by telling one person, that video has now been seen over 100 million times. Absolutely crazy. But we have to say once again, our favorite part of all of this is that it has brought us here to Maker Faire. Maker Faire is so cool. Thank you for coming out, supporting Maker Faire, supporting the Maker movement right here in New York. Now, if there's one thing that you take away from your time here at the Eepybird Coke and Mentos show, if there's one thing that you take away from your time here at Maker Faire, we hope that it is this. Try this at home. Let's show you how.
What we're about to do is so easy. There is no excuse for anybody here not having done it before this weekend is over. All you need is a bottle of soda, a package of Mentos mint candies, and a business card or a playing card, and a piece of paper. Now you just roll the piece of paper up into a tube to hold your Mentos. You're gonna put about 5 or 6 Mentos in there. Fritz is rolling it up just like that. That's simple. Then you take the business card, the playing card, and you put it on the bottom of the roll. And then drop a handful of Mentos mints into the tube, and the card will hold them in there from falling out. And then you place that entire assembly over the mouth of a bottle. And then when he pulls that card out, the Mentos will fall into the bottle and make this nice reaction. And the reason you have to do it like this instead of putting them in by hand is that when you put them in by hand, after the first or second Mentos, the soda starts to come out of the bottle and you can't get all 5 or 6 of them in. So if you do it like this, they all go in at once and you get a really nice reaction. And it looks like this. 3, 2, 1, pull. And the most important part is at the end of your geyser, arms up. Now we can't use that paper tube and card method to set up 108 bottles the way we're going to do for you now. So we have a slightly different method, but it's basically the same thing. If you look around the stage, you'll see on top of each of our bottles there's a little white tube. That's just a piece of PVC plumbing pipe. Inside there, before the show, we put in 5 Mentos mint candies, and on top is a plumbing cap, and on top of that cap, we've drilled a hole. We've also got a wire pin across the bottom of the tube, so when we pull the wire pin out, the Mentos will drop in just like when we pulled the card out, the Mentos dropped in. That'll cause a reaction that'll shoot out up through the tube and then out whatever shaped hole we've drilled in the top of the plumbing cap. So this one has a black stripe on it, and that tells us that it's a 1/2-inch hole. And I think we need some help with this one. We got a volunteer here to come up on stage? Yes, we do. All right. Now when she pulls that pin out, the Mentos are going to drop into the soda. The soda's going to shoot up in the air, and she's going to step back so she doesn't get too wet. Okay, when I say pull, 3, 2, 1, pull. Step back. Nicely done. Arms up. Good job. Now that was a 1/2-inch hole. This one has an orange stripe on the top. That tells us it's got, what, 2 or 3 holes in it, in the shape. One goes up, 2 go off to the side. And that makes a very different shaped geyser. And that looks like this. 3, 2, 1, pull. Thumbs up. Now, we have those the color coding, so we know when we set up the stage where to put every bottle, because as you see when we pull them all, there's sort of choreography that goes on. But you don't need to drill round holes in the tops of your bottles and tops of your nozzles. This is what we call a slot. We just took a hacksaw and cut a slit right across the top, and that makes a different kind of fountain. And that looks like this. 3, 2, 1, pull. Arms up. Now, you guys are going to do this yourself, and to do that, there's one important thing you need to know.
It took us a long time to find the right kind of glue, because you've got 2 different kinds of plastic. You've got PVC for the tube, and you've got the plastic of the bottle cap, and very little surface area to get those 2 pieces of plastic to bond. So here, you being makers, we'll clue you in, save you the weeks of research it took us. You need yourself some 3M Scotch-Weld DP8005 structural plastic adhesive. Make some noise for DP8005. There's some fans in the audience, I can tell. Maker Faire structural plastic adhesive, that's what it's all about. But, you know, you guys being makers, you're not going to just take a simple tube and put it on. You can do something like this.
You don't need to just drill holes in the tops of your geyser nozzles. You can put anything you want on top. This is just a very simple sprinkler, a lawn sprinkler from Home Depot. One of the simpler designs. But you can put anything you want on top. So when you do, send us pictures and videos. We want to see what you come up with. Because this is really just the tip of the iceberg.
Now the biggest question we get asked is, what makes this happen? What is it about this combination of Coke Zero and Mentos that makes this explosion happen? And you would think it would be a chemical reaction. You think it would be the ingredients of the soda and the ingredients of the candy interacting in some way, but in fact, it's primarily a physical reaction. It's primarily a physical reaction called nucleation. And you can see nucleation in action. If you take your finger and you just put it inside a cup of soda pop, you'll see bubbles forming on all the ridges of your finger. And what's happening is you've got all of this carbon dioxide, you've got all this fizz inside the soda pop, under pressure, looking to escape, trying to get out. And it will grab onto any bumpy surface it finds, like the ridges of your finger. Well, we got to go to the factory in Holland where all the Mentos in the world are born. And it was like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, where there was just that long, endless hallway with piles of crates, all filled with Mentos. I mean, we've seen a lot of Mentos in our lives, but that was a lot of Mentos. And it turns out the final stage of making Mentos is they throw hundreds of them into these giant rock tumblers, like a giant clothes dryer, and they spray it as they tumble around. They spray them with over 40 layers of liquid sugar. And that means that not only are they nice and tasty and sweet, It means that the surface, if you look at the surface under a microscope, you will actually see hundreds of thousands of tiny little bumps. And every single one of those bumps is a place for the carbon dioxide to grab onto. So when you go home and drop a bunch of Mentos into a bottle of Coke, and those Mentos sink down to the bottom, you got hundreds of thousands of bubbles grabbing onto the surface, you got bubbles grabbing onto those bubbles. All this creates this huge reaction, sends the soda flying out the mouth of the bottle.
Now, when we were first trying to do this, we were looking to maximize the height of the geysers and the speed of the geysers, and we tried every combination of we tried every soda on the shelf, we tried every candy on the shelf, we tried every combination and number of Mentos. And we thought we'd save you the time, because now you know it's Coke Zero is mostly what we use, although you can use anything, and Mentos. But the number of Mentos was also one of the variables, and we thought we'd save you the time. We'll show you what we did. We have 3 identical bottles here. The first one is a regular setup, a nozzle on top, 1 Mentos inside of this, and we'll show you what that looks like. 3, 2, 1, pull. But always, how good or bad you guys are, arms up. Even if it's really disappointing, that's the most important time to throw your arms up. Now this one has 5 Mentos in it. Let's see what this looks like. 3, 2, 1, pull. Arms up. And I'll say it again, this one goes to 11. There are 11 Mentos inside this tube, and we'll see what this looks like. 3, 2, 1, pull. Now we're talking. Arms up. So you can see you get a little bit of variation, but we use 5 in our show, and when they're nozzled down. The nozzles on that were about a 3/4 of an inch wide, and then most of our nozzles here are 1/4 inch, and that gets some nice height, even though it doesn't have 11 Mentos inside.
So yeah, you can stick with 5. That's a good number. Now, the other big question we get asked is, do you have to use diet soda? Does it have to be diet soda pop like Coke Zero or Diet Coke? The answer is no. You can use just about any fizzy beverage, including fizzy beverages that are made for grown-ups. It does work with beer. And in fact, it works really well with champagne. Oh yes. See, they put so much carbon dioxide inside those fizzy wines that we've gotten geysers 50% higher than anything we've ever seen with soda pop with sparkling wine. It's a little bit more expensive, however. But there are, in fact, 2 important reasons we use Coke Zero. First, they do put a little bit more carbon dioxide inside the diet soda pops than regular. So you do get more power. You get slightly bigger geysers with the diet soda pop. Second, most importantly, we are about to get soaked to the skin for your amusement. Now, if this had sugar in it, it would be really sticky. But with the diet soda pop, no sugar, it's not hardly sticky at all. So that's one of the best reasons to use diet soda pop. Now, if you're going to do this at home, and we know that you are, there's one more important tip that we have for you.
And that's this: use warm soda. Now, it's kind of counterintuitive. Most of us keep our soda in the refrigerator. And it took us a while to figure this out. The first time we learned this, the first show we did out of the United States, Mentos Istanbul hired us to come and do an event there. And we flew to Istanbul. We go to the nightclub. It was going to be the first indoor show. It was in this nightclub, and they tarped off the entire nightclub. But they don't have 2-liter bottles in Turkey, or they didn't then. So they'd flown them in from Romania, I think. They flew them in from somewhere else, and they kept them in an unheated warehouse overnight. So we go in, we're setting up, and we just go to show the crew what one bottle looks like so they know what they're setting up. And we pull the pin out, and it goes about 2 feet in the air. And the guys that brought us over, that flew us halfway around the world, and looking at us like, why did we bring you here? And we finally figured out it wasn't the soda, because we didn't know, does Romanian soda not work? Who knows, right? So we tried all the different variables. We realized it's the soda, it's cold, and we took all the bottles and we put them over all the heating vents in the nightclub. And about 20 minutes later, the soda was warm, and it worked really good. But for a while there was a little bit of tension. Over here, we have a demonstration, so you guys don't have to learn that painful lesson yourself. We have, again, identical setup, a nice experiment setup where we have a control and an experiment. One of these has been sitting out with everything else in the sun for the last couple of hours, getting nice and warm. One of them we put in a bucket of ice water for 2 hours or so. And everything else is the same. Fritz is going to pull them at about the same time. See if you can tell which one is cold and which one is hot. 3, 2, 1, pull. So the only difference there is temperature. Arms up. So when you do this yourself, use warm soda. Now do not use your microwave, okay? But if you have cold soda and you don't want to wait a couple of hours, just fill your kitchen sink with hot tap water, put the soda in there, let it sit for 5 or 10 minutes, and you'll have perfectly temperature soda for perfect geysers.
And we have one final cautionary tale, I would call it. So a few years ago, a woman came up to us one time and she said, oh, you're the ones. You're those Coke and Mentos guys. My daughter tried your little Coke and Mentos thing in the car on the way to the airport. My favorite part, Maddie was 16 years old. Maddie, no. So we do want you to try this at home, but we do suggest that you wait until you get all the way home. I know you'll be excited to jump in right away. Oh, we got some bees. Usually they come and they go, oh, there's no sugar, and they wander off once they know there's no sugar. Now we hope that you will take the opportunity to visit our website. It's eepybird.com, Eepybird, eepybird.com, or visit our Facebook page. We got all kinds of fun experiments that you can do. We've got a hovercraft that you can build. We've got all kinds of crazy things. We've got our experiments with a Coke and Mentos powered rocket car, 250,000 sticky notes. We've got 19 crazy ways to lace your shoes. All kinds of really fun things that you can find right at eepybird.com. Now, in just a couple of minutes, up on this stage, there will be 108 bottles of Coke Zero. There will be about this much soda left at the bottom of each bottle. It will be flat. It will be warm. It will have a slightly minty aftertaste. If you would like to sample this delicacy, if you would like a souvenir of your time here at World Maker Faire and your time here at the Eepybird Coke and Mentos show, make your way, give us about 5 minutes after the show, make your way over to this side, right by Makey. If you wait patiently by Makey, we will bring 108 bottles. Make a line right over there. We will have 108 to give away. Now there are slightly more than 108 of you here today, but we will have a whole lot for you to take home as a souvenir of your time right here at Maker Faire. So I think we're about ready. Are you guys ready? Make some noise for Maker Faire and let's make a big mess.
We should have had an umbrella.
Tap, 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 tap.